Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Little Squid League 17. We are getting started with your finals. My name is Falco Flyer. I am joined here by Day. Day, we've just saw an incredible set where Splatalot got their victory 3-1. Are you ready for finals?
Oh, heck yes. I am very much ready. And if I am to learn from what I just watched, I believe Splatalot will take the fight to Apocalypse after the set they just had.
Yeah, absolutely incredible set. And, you know, Apocalypse, they also won their set 3-1. But now we are moving on to a best of 7 with counter picks. But the first map and mode that we are going to be starting off with will be Splat Zones on Anchovy Games, I believe. Yes, I was right.
And yeah, Anchovy, yep.
Perfect. And so, yeah, we saw Splatalot win their Splat Zone set. That was game 1 of the prior set, and it was like such a stalemate back and forth where neither team really had control the entire time. But I'm really curious to see what they'll be doing against a different team on kind of a different zone setup. You know, this is not a split zone. It's a little bigger, so definitely different playstyle you have to do.
And I feel like I've seen a lot of comps that like to stall on this map because obviously the fans are part of a reason you can get control, and you really just want, obviously you want the zone, of course, but there are really a lot of places where you can just have that advantage and just keep a lookout for everyone.
Yeah, in this map, there are kind of a few different opportunities you can flank. You know, getting control pretty early is going to be nice, but once you let some of those enemy players up on your ledge, it's going to be really hard to kind of push them out. So we'll see how far some of these players can really push up. Something tells me we're not going to go the full 5 minutes, but I always love surprises, so we'll see.
I feel like, yeah, it might not go 5 minutes because sometimes there will be aggressors and sometimes there won't be, but I feel like if one team can get control, the other's fan, they're going to have a much better time.
And we are ready for the first game of finals, Apocalypse versus Splatalot. Here we go in LSL 17.
And we do see a meta comp coming out from Apocalypse, which is what we'd like to see, and especially the Mini and the Squeezer, they're going to be the ones that are going to be the presence for the zone and just pressing everyone back.
They are. So the first cap is going to go to Splatalot. They lost it for just a little bit, but they are able to pick it up once again. They don't quite get to 90 before Apocalypse kind of counters and pushes forward. As we do see now a Booyah Bomb coming from Splatalot, just trying to take over this zone, and they actually do. So this is going to be moving a few of their players around just a little bit, but not many kills going on this early.
As you say that, the junior immediately goes down to a bomb, and we are still in control of Splatalot. They have the zone, and they are being aggressive with it. And we see the K-Shot here just pushing up on the left side to apply even more pressure. And Apocalypse really can't get themselves ready because they're constantly being pushed up on. And as I say that, the KL immediately takes out the K-Shot, and that Booyah Bomb is going straight for the zone.
Yep, straight for the zone, and we do see a counter Booyah Bomb literally thrown in the exact same spot. But, you know, fortunate for Splatalot, they are able to get it down to 41. They do have quite a bit of penalty points, but that is fine this early in the game when you have a lead like they do. But now Apocalypse going to try and respawn. We do have a 4v3. Missiles coming out from Apocalypse as they're now going to be trying to push forward on Splatalot, but it's not going to quite work. We do see players from Splatalot jumping in, but they don't have a lot of players alive. This zone is still headed by Apocalypse. That is a wipe, so that's really nice for Apocalypse. They are going to want to try and push forward to take this lead. Let's see how Splatalot responds.
I feel like Splatalot will want to respond by taking control of that and just being aware of everyone, because you see Apocalypse has 2 specials. It's that Booyah Bomb and that Junior, and when you
that is enough for them to take the lead. So Apocalypse now has the lead with under 30 points remaining, 3 minutes left into this game, and they are still pushing up against this Splatalot team. But 2 players are now down on Apocalypse. Can Splatalot push forward? They're going to have a Booyah Bomb. They are going to cap this zone, giving 70 penalty points for Apocalypse. That is very, very nice if you are Splatalot. And now members of Splatalot still pushing up, pushing forward, as 3 specials are now ready on Apocalypse. They are going to be trying to push forward and seeing if they can make any movement here. But so far, it's they are able to get a cap, which is really nice. They are able to take it back. We do see a Booyah Bomb now being thrown at mid, and this zone is still held by Apocalypse, even though they have a lot of penalty points, but now taken over by Splatalot.
You see, they used their one, Apocalypse used their one special, the armor, and immediately got 2 down on the side of Splatalot. So definitely, it's likely we'll go back and control Apocalypse, which it does. And now we see the setup, and what are they going to do with this? Are they going to just file up the specials and just wait for the right time?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing, but they are not shy about using their specials and using their Booyah Bombs. We're seeing so many back and forth caps. This is a very different pace of what we saw from the first game of the last set, because there just weren't really many zone caps in that game. But right now, 3 players are down on Splatalot. This is really nice for Apocalypse. I mean, if they can just keep up this pressure, they don't need to push forward a lot, but if they can do what they are doing for the next minute, they will be winning game 1. But as we see, members of Splatalot now trying to flank. Can they get this zone? It looks like they are going to be going down, 2 players down on Splatalot.
And yeah, we're now in the state that Splatalot needs to just be careful and time the specials. As we see, a K-Shot did get a pick, but immediately taken out themselves, followed by the K-Out, which is again throwing another Booyah Bomb, and as that timer takes down, I don't think Splatalot's going to get another chance, and that's just going to be game 1 going away just like that.
Yes, Apocalypse going to be winning this first game of the set. They held their 4 for a very, very long time, but kind of in the second half of that match, they were able to kick it up a notch and control that zone the entire time. So again, they are walking away with game 1. But Splatalot now, they have a counter pick that they can choose, and I have no idea what could be in store here.
It really could be anything, but I feel like they're going to want to pick something that's in their favor and how they feel is the best for their weapons and the best for their playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, that is the move that you will want to do. And I mean, do you try and like think, okay, do we want to keep the same weapons that we played, or do we want to do something completely different? But it looks like they will be doing tower control on Starfish main stage. So I personally really enjoy this map mode combo. What about you?
I do too, because there's a lot of flanking opportunities. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for teams to take control of mid, and you're going to want somebody immediately on that snipe or on that top right side. And if you really want to get aggressive on this, you can either take one of the flanks, or you can just be flat out aggressive around the tower. But I don't think either of these teams are going to do that, and they're just going to save up their specials and get the game started like their first.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of getting an early push. Like, do you want to go for the tower right away? I mean, it's not like I don't know if it's a map that you need early control to kind of set the tone for you, but just kind of being patient and waiting to see what the other team does too. You just want to kind of, mirror their energy, I think would be a good idea.
And as we're getting ready to be prepared, how do you think both teams will approach the tower?
That is a good question, because there are opportunities for this map to flank, but I feel like if you flank early on, it can be a little more obvious because, both teams, they're opening their mini-map right when the match starts because you want to see what abilities the other team has, and that also gives you an opportunity to see, okay, where are these teams actually pushing? So I do think at the very beginning, most players will just kind of go right for mid and position themselves and not really flank, but I could be surprised.
Because even if you did try and flank and it doesn't work out, you're going to be stuck in a hole immediately because you're giving your team the disadvantage, and that's not what you want. Taking the flank is easy here, but can really capitalize and just make it obvious that they just need that?
Yeah, we'll find out. We are getting started with Game 2, Tower Control on Starfish main stage.
Yeah, heavy. Trick going back to the heavy, and we're seeing the same comp coming out from Apocalypse and essentially the same comp coming out from Splatalot, bearing the heavy spotman switch.
Yeah, I mean, for Apocalypse, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, they had a pretty compelling win in game one. Right now, they do have one player down as they are going to be trying to get to mid a little bit, but Splatalot able to get on the tower just for a tiny, tiny second, and now Young is going to get back on the tower. They do have two players down, so not enough to really make a push towards this first checkpoint, but, you know, they were probably hoping for something a little better.
And as we saw on this, the Squeezer essentially took a 1v2 by themselves, and it looked like they were trapped on the bottom left, which really gave them back the control they needed. And now we're back at the stalemate. And as I say that, one down on both sides, as Apocalypse has two of their specials, bearing my horrible timing on words. But yes, they have the tower and they have that stinger ready for whenever Trick decides to use it.
Yeah, Stingray missiles now coming out. It looks like two. Trick's still staying alive. Can they get to this first checkpoint? They do, but they are spotted and have missiles on them. Going to have to be jumping out for just a split second, but are then targeted and still able to stay alive. So a really good job there. You know, unfortunately for them, they couldn't push the tower, and a few of their players also got splatted, but now they're going to be trying this again. Can Trick stay on? No, Trick is going to go down, and two players are down on Splatalot.
And for the first checkpoint, yeah, that's probably going to be the one that's going to fall very quickly. But as you see, as we're approaching 3 minutes left, no team has really either been able to do that. It's just the same thing we've kept seeing. The stalemate on both teams. No one can really get a push or get that control going. As you see, all members are alive on Apocalypse, while two are now just respawning on Splatalot. And we do see the stingray coming out from Trick, which is going to cause this push to essentially be over and be a nice wall for Splatalot to defend.
Yeah, Splatalot, you know, it is nice that they did have the player advantage, and they are going to be trying to push this tower once again for just a little bit. Can they get it out of mid? They do have a two-player advantage, so that's going to be really nice for them, as a few players are just trying to search for these other players. Where are they? They're really trying to find them. This tower is now going to get to the first checkpoint once again. This is going to be their opportunity. I know they don't have a player advantage, but they are keeping the pressure up. Can they get past the checkpoint? And it is so
barely.
But the jump in at the last second is what is going to get them past this checkpoint, as they are now at 53. But now the tower is taken over by Apocalypse, and they have a few specials in their pocket.
And getting that all-out push was probably the most essential thing they could have done, because now they have time to set up, and as you see the Stingray coming up as soon as I say that, and now Trick is just getting that ray up and just pushing the members of Apocalypse back. This is looking a lot more different from what we saw the first match. They're putting the pressure on Apocalypse, and it's working out well in their favor.
It certainly is. We have under 2 minutes remaining now. Apocalypse is going to be getting back on this tower once again. Missiles coming towards the side of Splatalot. Can they push to this first checkpoint and potentially more? They do have a one-player advantage, but it's going to be hard with some suction bombs coming in. Blue Bomb's going to be trying to help them a little bit. They are now getting to the first checkpoint and still getting some picks, so this is really, really nice for Apocalypse.
And as you see, Trick needed to get out of there immediately because he was not in the best spot. But with this chaos pursuing you, you don't know what's going to happen. Is Apocalypse going to take the lead? No, it's not going to tie. Is anyone going to get a tower? And yes, Apocalypse will get the lead with just over a minute remaining and the player advantage. And Splatalot is doing everything they can to just keep him out. But now there's three down on the side of Splatalot. This is intense.
This is exactly what Apocalypse needed. They waited for the perfect opportunity to push forward, and it seemed like Splatalot was just unintentionally feeding, just little by little, and it was enough for Apocalypse to take the lead. And now Splatalot is able to kind of take control of mid, take control of this tower, maybe getting set up for one final push, as they do have a lot of map control, and they are going to be trying to build their specials. So Apocalypse, they were able to get 1/4 of the way through their checkpoint, but they are now 2 players down. So this might not be their push, as we have some specials ready on Apocalypse.
And as you see the tribe going down, that pretty much is going to end any chance of them trying to get a push, as the tower's now back in the mid. You see 2 down now on the side of Splatalot. This might be sealing their fate, as Apocalypse has 2 of their specials ready, and we all likely know where that Booyah Bomb is going to be going very well.
We certainly do. We do see some missiles coming in, targeting Apocalypse, but I don't think it's going to matter.
No.
Because this Booyah Bomb's going to go up, wait for the GG Booyah. It is thrown. Can they stay on the tower? They are jumping.
Yeah, we got the jump, but that doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter. Apocalypse is going to be winning game 2 of the finals of LSL 17.
And we did see a bit more life from Splatalot, and I certainly hope they'll bring it. I'll keep bringing it because they had the chance. They just let it slip away because, again, it's the same story with Trick. They allowed themselves to be picked off easily when they were not in a very favorable situation because you wanted that Stingray up almost immediately to just stop that push, and they were so reliable with it early on.
They were, and that was a really nice win for Apocalypse. We kind of saw the slow beginning of what we saw a little bit in the Anchovy games game, I guess, in the very first part of that match, but overall really nice for Apocalypse. And Splatalot, they really didn't do anything wrong in that match. I think too, when they were pushing and just slowly feeding, that was kind of what hurt them a little bit, but the utilization of specials from Apocalypse is really what helped them out.
And it was really, again, it was really much a stalemate after not Rolling Squids. That was our last set. After Splatalot was able to get that push going, they had the control in their favor. They just let themselves get picked off too quickly and not allowing themselves to respawn and gather their specials.
Indeed, and we are getting ready for game 3. I would love to see some Clam Blitz. I don't know what we'll see, but Clams is one of my favorite modes to watch, especially with the team coordination and just seeing how these teams utilize their specials. So we'll see what's in store.
And as Clam Blitz has evolved, we've seen more and more teams gather different strategies for different maps. Sometimes we usually see an all-out push. We usually see sometimes people jumping in and whatnot. We'll just see how it works out here.
And we are going to be going to Splat Zones on the Reef. So this is where we saw Splatalot get their first win in the semis. So they're trying to keep up what happened then and getting their first win on Apocalypse.
I feel like this will be a very good round for them because they've played this map before. They know how to approach it. And I'd assume we're going to likely see the same weapons as they did when they were playing Rolling Squids in the semifinals. But as we see, they might just, who knows, they might just run a completely different comp to adjust to how Apocalypse is playing.
Yeah, and I think that is something you're going to have to consider because now you are down 2 games in this set. Before it was 0-0. Nobody had any points. So when you're down 2-0, you do want to try and think, okay, what can we change? You don't want to rely just based on what happened before. And Apocalypse, they really, like you mentioned before, they hadn't changed their weapons, and I personally don't think they need to change it now.
And yeah, it's worked well for the past 2 matches, so why fix it? Do you think they're going to have a different mindset when they're coming up 2-0 and against a team that just blew it, just had that small chance, and then they just let it slip away? Or do you think they're going to approach in a more aggressive style, or do you think they're going to be way more conservative?
You know, I think you want to be aggressive, but at the same time, it's to what extent, I think. And we are getting ready for game 3. So let's see if Apocalypse can go up 3-0 and Splatalot looking for their first win of this set.
And yeah, essentially we're seeing the same comp, always the same comp. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And we're seeing the Splat, we're seeing Mia and Trick change their weapons. We're seeing the double armor, double booyah comp from Splatalot as we saw in their match against Rolling Squids.
That's right. Apocalypse trying to go for this early cap. We see the junior there rushing in, and there are 2 players down now on Splatalot. 1 player down on Apocalypse, now 2 players down. So Gel just trying to stay alive, just trying to throw some bombs up there. They are kind of the safety net for painting this zone. They're like, hey, I'll take quick half of the zone, but I'll also help you by throwing bombs and staying down below. But they are going to get themselves in a pickle and going to go down, but not without getting them all the way to 82 points remaining.
And we saw immediately a resemblance of what Splatalot did against Rolling Squids. They capped and got the stalemate, and now it's in their favor.
And the lead is now going to be taken over by Splatalot. 2 specials ready on the side of Apocalypse. How long can Splatalot control this zone? They got it all the way down to 70, but it looks like it might be taken over by Apocalypse, and it is giving 24 penalty points to Splatalot, as Splatalot is down now by 1 player.
You see Trick making a wise decision to get out there. You're not going to get much from there. And you see a very ambitious Tri-Slosher just trying to drop down and get that easy pick. But no, it's going to be back in control of Apocalypse as they are just now essentially staying up top. And there's a stray Booyah Bomb. What were they expecting with that, though?
Maybe to displace a few of the players, but with that, Apocalypse is now going to be taking the lead. 56-70, they are still in control of this zone. The players from Splatalot trying to push down. Unfortunately, oh, they do have a player advantage now. I was going to say they were down a player, but no, 2 players from Apocalypse went down. So this could be an opportunity for Splatalot, but this zone just is still being contested and is now on the side of Splatalot.
And we see now Splatalot has the player advantage, and can they take control of it? We're seeing them try in a very good position. That's exactly where you want it to be. But with a man disadvantage, you don't want to be too aggressive at the same time. And you see the armor as the K-Gon now just respawns, and it looks like they're pulling them out decently.
They are. Splatalot looking to try and chip away at these penalty points to try and get the lead. We do see Booyah Bomb come in, but it looks like the Tri-Slosher is going to be going down to the bubbles. 3v3. Apocalypse trying to take over this zone, and it looks like they might because there were 3 players down. So they are able to get the zone and start chipping away at their penalty points. They're going to really need to push up, but there are just so many trades that are happening in this match.
And we see the Tri-Slosher just sharking under the bridge. I feel like that's probably one of the best decisions you can make because they're just keeping the zone and they're just looking around for players. And we see they're popping the armor, and Trick has control of that bridge, and that's exactly where you want them to be with an advantage going for you.
So more Booyah Bombs being thrown. Splatalot still trying to hold on to this zone. We have under 2 minutes remaining now, but just a classic 4v4 battle right now. Both of these teams, I think, taking a step back like, okay, we got to be a little more patient, but this is going to be working out for Splatalot as they have control of this zone without any players going down for, honestly, at least 30 seconds. We say that as one of the Splatlings go down, but will this be enough for Splatalot to take the lead? It looks like it is. So Splatalot has the lead with a minute 30 remaining.
And we see Apocalypse just used their specials a little bit too late because they had a player down and weren't able to time it well. And now we see Splatalot having the zone again in a 2v2 matchup. And we see another kill by a Squeezer using those bubbles, which have been very effective for them in capping the zone.
Yeah, Apocalypse doing exactly what they needed to do there, getting a few picks, taking the zone, but not quite enough for them to hold on because that is a wipe. That is going to be huge as we have 1 minute remaining. Splatalot trying to use this time to get rid of their penalty points and push up and to try and extend their lead. Young now going to be using some armor, waiting for all these players to be flanking. They are just spread out on this map, and it's hard for Apocalypse to push forward. This is looking very, very nice for Splatalot.
And as we see the timer tick down, they're obviously going to have that time. They're obviously going to have that in favor for them. But now Splatalot going 3 down, and that's not what you want when the switch is such a slim penalty.
Oh man,
I feel like Apocalypse will just take that. Yeah, it's 3 down. It's essentially a wipe on the side of Splatalot. How are they going to get back in with only 20 seconds left?
That is huge. They are now chasing down this Tri-Slosher who is at mid. They are going to go down, but Apocalypse need to take this lead. We do see Trick here in the zone, but is then going to go down. Can Apocalypse cap once again to try and regain the lead as we have 5 seconds left? Can they do it, or is it going to be contested?
No, it looks like he's down on the side of Apocalypse.
Oh man, such a close game there at the end, but Splatalot walking away with their first win of the set as they are now only down by 1 game.
And you didn't expect that because they just happened to occur a wipe just a bit earlier. So I was wondering how they would be able to get back in, but lo and behold, it's always that Tri-Slosher. It's always that fast-paced weapon that you need to just take control. And it looks like they were looking in the right direction for that, and it was the reason why they got that win.
Yeah, just the decision making there at the very end, just like, hey, we just gotta go in and try and do whatever we can to make sure Apocalypse doesn't regain this zone. That was the most important part, and that's one of those situations where, yeah, is it feeding technically, but it's what you need to do in that situation to kind of slow down the pace of game. So with that being said, we are moving on to Clam Blitz Piranha Pit. I am happy that we are finally seeing some Clam Blitz here in finals. And Piranha Pit, honestly, one of my personal favorites.
And as a long-range player myself, I feel like, yes, the conveyors are going to want to be in your favor. It's essentially the same thing as Piranha Pit, or not Piranha Pit, Anchovy. If you can get control of the conveyors, then essentially you're going to have a much better time in organizing that push.
Yeah, and this is one of those unique maps where there is an area behind the basket, but it's nowhere close to your spawn. So, you know, that area is literally called useless, but I don't think it's as useless in Clam Blitz as it is in other modes. Definitely have a time for... Oh, you're good. You have an opportunity for some of your teammates to jump in and throw some clams in behind the basket, and I'm just really looking to see some really good coordination.
And I feel like now they have that adrenaline going. We're not going to see a sweep. They have that adrenaline going. They just want to match those really close to them. But I feel like that Tri-Slosher is going to have a better time. They can use that fall off for their advantage. The Tri-Slosher has insane fall off, and with those conveyors, it's going to be a big help for them.
That's right, and our teams are ready, so let's bring you guys game 4. Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit. Apocalypse up now 2-1.
And we do see a slight change of pace from Apocalypse. You see the splash coming in instead of the keg out, but it's essentially the same story. And you see it ends at 89 on the side of Splatalot. How many missiles do you think we're going to see today?
You know, quite a bit. I don't know if we'll see as many as we saw in that one set that we were watching in semifinals, but I want to be surprised. I always want to be surprised. We are now seeing a 3v3 as a few specials are starting to be unleashed, a few claims being gathered, and it looks like, 3 players are down on Splatalot, so that's going to be really nice for Apocalypse as they're now pressuring forward, pushing with these bubbles, pushing with the power claim. Will this be enough for them to score? It's gonna be close. Ooh, and yes, it looks like...
And they only ended up one alive, and that push ended up in vain.
Yeah, so kind of a missed opportunity there for Apocalypse as they are trying to... They were hoping that it would at least be a double power clam push. Unfortunately, didn't work out. So if you're Splatalot, that is something that you just have to be thankful for.
Because you only had the spot lane alive, and you didn't have and there were bubbles coming for you. They just had to be very thankful that they could just at least just get the one power clam. And as I say that, they've got 3 down again, just leaving the spot lane alive. It looks like they're taking care of business. As I say that, they also go down.
And now we do see a power clam for the Neo Splash as members of Apocalypse are now going to be trying to push forward and applying some pressure. Unfortunately, they don't really have the player advantage right now, but Splatalot only has their pity clam that they could use to counter push. So let's see what Apocalypse is going to be doing here. They are going to be getting a few more picks, but Splatalot now picking up that power clam.
And so far, we haven't seen many missiles. We've only seen 4 missiles combined from the Zap and the Splatter Shot on Splatalot, and that's usually not what you want. You usually want more missiles. You just want to keep applying that pressure and just keeping the flow of the map in your favor.
So this could be another good push for Apocalypse. They are hoping to do more than just one power clam this time, but there are 2 players down now. So a really nice stop for Splatalot as they are now up by 3 players. Splatalot using this time to kind of respawn and push towards mid. They are going to, it looks like they are going to be ballering towards, or not ballering towards the basket, but pushing towards the basket. But again, it's like these teams get so close, then just go down. The defense of both of these teams is amazing.
It's astonishing how much we see they just know they have to get it in quickly, but when they try, it's just the members of the other team just respawn so quickly.
And that is, again, 3 and 2 players down now on Splatalot. So this is really nice for Apocalypse as they can't quite form their power clam. Okay, now they are tossing clams and now able to score. Let's see how many they can get in to extend their lead. They are down. Ooh, and some really nice positioning and throwing there for Apocalypse as they get all the way down to 37.
And you see now they're going down slowly, but I say that, and now that is a wipe on the Apocalypse. That was pretty good defense, but they really did need to take control and just work together as a team. They have another pity clam if one's gonna grab the other one that was still there.
And now Splatalot trying to counter this push, or trying to counter their push by pushing of their own. It looks like Trick is now pushing forward, and the power claims are coming in. Can they score? They have a player advantage right now. Will this be a score? And it looks like it is. Now, will it be enough for them to take the lead? And 3 players down. This is going to be really nice for Splatalot.
This is their best chance.
More claims being thrown, but Young is now contested. Oh, I think they're in a position to take the lead here. They just need a few more claims, though.
No, and it looks like they're not going to get it, and that push is going to be over as Apocalypse now regains control, and they have time to breathe. They have 1 minute, and they have the flow of their game now in their favor with all the members of Splatalot responding.
And this map is pretty even, but Apocalypse now applying some pressure by pushing some missiles through, and they have 24 clams in their pocket right now. So that's going to be really nice as they are now trying to push forward towards this basket. They do have a player advantage. Can they get there and extend their lead and keep this basket open for as long as they possibly can? Splatalot doing a really good job just of not letting them get anywhere close.
And we see they're working together, but now as we see, there's 2 down on Splatalot, and this is really their time. Just try and defend and not let any clams in. But as I say that, the junior pushes in and gets that clam. The Squeezer falling pursuit. Those bubbles, that's really going to help. They're getting called out. They couldn't get that jump off. And now this is really Splatalot's last chance to make a push. Because here we come in overtime.
They are able to pick up their pity clam with 24 clams, 2 power clams ready to go. Apocalypse is going to need to be playing some really, really good defense. There's going to be a booyah bomb thrown. The junior's able to stay alive. Power clams coming in. Is the power clam going to go in? 1 is in. How many more players are alive? Can they get this power clam in?
Get it in.
Oh my goodness. What an incredible push by Splatalot, tying this set up 2-2. Wow, that was amazing. I'm kind of speechless.
It's just making our heart attack. They're just giving us heart attacks. They even got in the measure. You see 12 missiles, not a lot of kills, but they had a lot of presence in turf because they were able to keep the specialists in their favor despite constantly getting picked off. And it's that booyah bomb that really set it apart because the junior was forced into a bad position and they were able to pick them off and wasn't able to defend properly. Even though that they were 2 down, they weren't able. The Spider Shot was able to pick up the clam and toss it in for the win.
Exactly. In Apocalypse, they knew exactly what was coming because they're like, okay, there's 5 seconds left. They just got a free power clam. We have to play defense because Splatalot's basket is no longer open. Apocalypse can't really just throw in a counter push to end the game. They had to play defense, but Splatalot just did a really good job saving their specials, pushing with those bubbles and getting both of those power clams in to get the win. It was incredible.
And now we see Clam Blitz, Inkblot Academy. What are your thoughts on this one?
Hey, I am all for back-to-back Clam Blitz. And Inkblot, it's interesting because you really have 2 areas that you can throw the clam in. You can kind of be more patient and conservative and go up the slick side, or you can try to take the pedestal and just throw 1 clam in, hope it scores, and hope that your team is ready and there. But I don't know, Apocalypse, they had control for a lot of that game before, but Splatalot, they really surprised us with their push. So I honestly can't really make any predictions. Anything I predict will be wrong. So
I wouldn't say that because there's less space to move around in Inkblot, so it's likely going to be more condensed, especially in the middle when you have that barrier. It's essentially the same layout as with most modes, but I feel like teams are going to want to take advantage of the drop on the right or left side, depending on what side you're on, because there's a lot of turf there. There's a lot of maneuverability. You're really going to want to take control of those sides, and especially mid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really the only area where you can kind of flank into this game. But guess what? These teams are ready, so let's bring you Game 5. Both of these teams needing the win to go up by 1 game.
And we're seeing this exact same count from both teams. I like how they don't need to change anything, and they're just making a push. They're just gathering their clams and just getting control.
Yeah, and I like that too. They're just kind of like, hey, we like our weapons. We kind of respect the weapon choices from the other team too. We're just going to keep it because these teams know that this is neck and neck for all of their matches. We see an early rain now coming out, going to be moving some of the members from Apocalypse, but they are going to be getting a player advantage and picking up some clams as they are now sitting at 20.
And that was my bad on the junior pick. It was that same junior that decided to pick C junior, and I like that pick because they get to keep the game, they get to keep the map in their color, and just slow and gradual. And now we see control being taken back the other way as Gel here is trying now to take that right side, and they do spot someone out, but they don't watch the flanker, and that's the K-shot going down in the trade.
That's right. 2 players now down on Splatalot, but 2 specials ready on Apocalypse. 3 players down. So Apocalypse is really going to want to try to get control of mid and to push up. They are now using some of their specials. It looks like the Neo Splash is using some suction bombs to try to pressure a few of these Splatalot players just by their basket. And we do have 1 power clam for Apocalypse, but they're having trouble getting there because the Heavy Remix is just waiting. They know that, okay, they have to get past me if they want to score, and it's going to be really hard for them.
And the presence of the Heavy is really important into why Splatalot is consistently able to defend, because the presence itself is just, you don't know how to counter it. It's just right there all the time, and it can easily be used as an offensive weapon too. And as we see a Booyah Bomb come out, this is really their best chance, even though they don't have many clams to show for it.
Yeah, that's right. 28 claims, though, on the side of Apocalypse, but they just don't have the map control. They are really struggling to try and fight Splatalot. They know, okay, we have 2 power clams. We don't want to rush in and risk one of our players going down, so they are taking their time, but they are... Oh, they do now have a player advantage. There were 3 players down on Splatalot. They're going to be using this time and these bubbles to try and push forward. 2 power clams neck and neck, just right next to each other. How will they make this push happen? Let's find out.
You see and 2 down on the side of Splatalot. This is really their best chance. Are they going to be able to get the power clams in? This junior's having trouble, and yes, they eventually do make it in. That's 3 down on the side of Splatalot with the Heavy being able to contribute much defense. And that's already down all the way down to 18.
A ridiculous first push by Apocalypse with this basket still open, jumping in some more claims, throwing in some more claims. They just need 2 more claims to win this game. Can it be a 1 push KO? Let's see. It is so close. Yes,
and
it is. So Apocalypse doing a great job in getting that 1 push KO and winning this game. It took a while to get them going, but they were able to really push forward and keeping the pressure up. They were able to score the clams and get the picks, and that is exactly what you need in Clam Blitz.
And as we said, the Heavy, yes, they were able to keep the presence, but how much of the presence are they able to keep? Yes, they can be an intimidating factor, but when they don't bring it up and when they're alone, it's going to be hard for the Heavy alone just to do anything because they're just slow. They're not really able to do much, and that's really what Apocalypse was able to manipulate, because they just gradually over time just kept gathering clams, and that's why they were able to KO so quickly.
So remember, this is a best of 7 rather than a best of 5. Apocalypse now up 3-2. They need 1 more game, 1 more win if they want to win Little Squid League 17. And Splatalot looking to win these next 2, trying to push it all the way to Game 7. But we have Game 6 first. Splatalot is now going to be making their counter pick. Something tells me they might not choose Clam Blitz based on how that match happened, but I don't know. We'll see.
And I don't know about you, but I definitely want to see Game 7. This has just been such an intense time. Both teams they want it so badly, but I don't think depending on the map or mode, I don't think these comps are likely going to change. These players know what works for them. They know what's comfortable. And in Game 6, it's essentially a do or die for both teams.
It certainly is, and I love how we've had, 2 on Apocalypse, then 2 on Splatalot. It's not this, back and forth, so it's just they kind of kept up the momentum for each of these teams, and like you said about these weapon choices, it has just been really, really nice that they were just hey, we're playing these weapons, we know that they are likely going to play these weapons, and they just kind of, go to battle with them. And we do see our next map and mode being chosen. It is going to be Tower Control on Manta Maria. What are your thoughts on this, Day?
Now, for Trick, this is a great time as a spot lane because you want to be up on those grades, you want to be pressuring. It's a perfect map for a spot lane, but how will Splatalot use that to their advantage? This map is usually more cluttered, a lot more focused on getting up into the choke area part of the map, and I feel like it's going to be a long and slow ride, and this match is definitely not going to be a KO.
We want to welcome those of you coming from CCA Splatoon stream. You guys are watching Little Squid League 17, and we are in our finals. Apocalypse versus Splatalot. Apocalypse just needing one more win if they would like to be LSL 17 champions.
And it's been a very intense set so far, and neither of us really have words for how to describe it because it's probably been one of the best to see. 2 amazing comeback wins from Splatalot, and then just that momentum just falling back on them as Apocalypse was able to get that quick KO on Inkblot.
Exactly. Like, the only match that really was kind of lopsided was that previous match that we just saw on Game 5. The first 4 games, they basically went the entire time and have been absolutely incredible. So I don't know what I don't know what we'll see. I know tower control. You were mentioning tower control on this stage, though. It's slightly different just because you have so many little hallways that you just really have to play a little differently.
And I feel like the Heavy's going to have to take advantage of the grades up top and just scour around for opposing players because they have the height, they have the vantage point, and that's really going to be the key component to this if they want to even respond and get their Game 7.
And it looks like these players might be taking a little bit more time choosing their weapons. But as I say that, they are ready. So let's bring you guys Game 6, Apocalypse versus Splatalot.
And we see essentially the same comms from both teams, although we do see the 85 NZAP on the side of Splatalot.
Yeah, so armor on both teams once again. And I'm liking the weapon choices. There really isn't anything negative to say about them or anything that's, you know, not really intuitive for some of these teams. And there are going to be 2 players down already on Splatalot. 3 players down. That's going to be a really nice triple for Plat. So now Apocalypse is going to be pushing this tower and approaching their first checkpoint. One
thing I'm finding interesting is that it's not the vanilla, it's not the foil squeezer that most people are accustomed to running. We're seeing the vanilla from Apocalypse. How do you think that's going to change the momentum of this game?
You know, it's hard to tell, but for Apocalypse, it seems to be just working out just fine. I don't think no weapon choice is going to bother them, as they're making a really strong push already at the second checkpoint and have a 2-player advantage.
And we're waiting for Trick to pop out that scene because I know, yep, here it comes now. But they keep walking in. They're not timing their specials together, and it's what's costing them. And it's going to be another 3 down as they're going to be going immediately for that third and final checkpoint.
This is not good if you are Splatalot. Apocalypse just had control this entire time. Is it going to be enough for them to get their Plata now on the tower? Can they get this just once?
Can they do it? And that's Game 6 going to Apocalypse.
Apocalypse winning this game and are your LSL 17 champions.
I feel like that was a more anticlimactic ending from what we saw the final matches because it was so evenly balanced. I feel like Splatalot just lost their momentum. They had all it going into that 6th game, but then they just let it go.
You know, that did happen, but you have to think these players are also so tired. They've been playing all afternoon. In Apocalypse, they were just able to really take control on games 5 and 6, and they win this set 4-2. So what a fantastic tournament and a fantastic day being here. We want to say a quick thank you to all of our staff and TOs. They have put in so much effort behind the scenes, making sure LSL 17 can run smoothly. I know not mentioned here is Jub. We have to give Jub a shout out. Thank you. Jub is up there. Okay, perfect. I was going to say all the amazing graphics you guys are seeing, that is all Jub. I was reading chat and everyone was saying, who's doing this? This is amazing. That is them. They're incredible.
And this is possibly one of the best tournaments I've ever commentated. It all came down to the wire. It was very fun to watch, and I'm happy with you, Falco. I was glad to commentate with such a legend. It was such a fun time.
Well, Day, it was my pleasure casting with you for the first time as well. We had a lot of fun, and man, unfortunately, we couldn't have an LSL in December. We are happy to bring you LSL 17 here in January, and we can't wait until the next time, because if you enjoyed this, you're going to enjoy every other LSL that happens.
Because yes, even with the lower skill cap that's been happening lately, it brings out more excitement, more fun, because you don't know what comps these teams are going to run. And as we saw in the finals, these teams just knew what they loved. They knew what worked. And it's what made the set just so consistent and just so back and forth.
Absolutely. And a quick thank you to all the other commentators who were commentating earlier. Everyone did such a fantastic job, and we want to thank you guys. So, Day, we can find you on Day the Dyna on Twitter. Is that right? Is that what we see?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. And where on Twitch? Do you stream?
I do not stream, no.
Gotcha. All right. Well, my name is Falco Flyer. You can find me Falco Flyer on Twitch and Falco Flyer 11 on Twitter. But that is going to be it for us today. So we hope you guys had a wonderful day. We certainly did. And we will see you guys next time. And yes, that is it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.